More democratic than we are?
No, more democratic. I'm not talking about what we have now as a baseline.
More Jewish.
Yeah, I mean, there is some sort of trade-off. Yeah,
we founded this country as a homeland for the Jewish people, and if that's the basis, that's what you go on. So you can't suddenly come up and say, yes, we thought we'd find it for the Jewish people, but turns out there are some Arabs here, so maybe we'll be a little bit more democratic. You just can't do that. You made a country for the Jewish people, and Jewish people don't have anywhere else. This needs to be a Jewish country. And if the democracy is getting in the way, then throw the democracy out. You need to have a country for the Jewish people, because if you want to stay Jewish, if you don't want to stay Jewish, end it all. Say, no, we're democratic and we don't want a country for the Jewish people. We're just going to be like everyone else. Great, go for that. But you can't say, okay, all Jewish people come in. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a democratic vote and we're going to, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so, but one of the things that are a result of this is, for instance, in our case, in Israel's case, what happened was that Judaism was sort of the only Judaism that was stamped as real, quote-unquote, Judaism, was rabbinical Judaism. And not only rabbinical, but Orthodox rabbinical Judaism. Now, Orthodox Judaism, not rabbinical, Orthodox Judaism is actually the minority within the Jewish world.
I'm going to, cut in, because I think we had a misunderstanding there. I actually meant national Judaism.
Okay.
I wasn't even talking about
So I'm talking about
the religion.
Because it's almost inseparable in certain ways. I mean, the religion itself is also nationalistic by its nature, but it has certain rules that affect the way we define, at the very least, who is a Jew. Who is a Jew is not...
What's that question now about the religion?
So if we have a situation where, here's an example, okay? So if you set a standard for who is a Jew, you obviously set a standard for who is not. If that is the case, what happens to all the Reform Jews? Are they not Jews? If someone sees himself as part of the Jewish people, okay? Sees a common destiny with the Jewish people, even keeps customs, speaks Hebrew, everything, but is not Jewish according to rabbinical Jewish law. What happens then? Who wins?
I think that's a really important question. So what we probably will have to do is anybody who puts his fate into this country, who's willing to live and die for this country, needs to be considered part of the nation. And once you're considered part of the nation, and the nation is Judean, you're Judean. It's like when the Second Temple was falling, the Idumeans were Idumeans, but they said to the Judeans, we are fighting with you. And so the Idumeans essentially became Judeans in that sense. They had their Idumean ways, but they became Judean. And the same here. If you're willing to live and die for a country, you belong to that country. So if I go and live in Britain and I'm willing to go into the army and die for Britain, I'm British. Yeah.
So how can you be a British Jew? I mean, I have an answer to that but just wondering how
you have chosen to be first British and second Jewish. And here in Israel, people have chosen to be first Judean and then whatever else.
It's interesting that you say Judean. I like that, actually. It's better than saying Jewish.
Bechlet.
Yeah.